Hey everyone, welcome back to AI Insights. I'm your host, Fleur Prince, your favorite AI tech community manager and Vivid AI reader, here together with Grania.
Hi guys.
She is AI market lead, and together we're going to tell you all about what is the latest things that happened in AI. So we're going to talk about Google's acquisition of Wiz, Arcade's raise to 12 million for AI agent infrastructure. We're also going to go a little bit to Italy, where Foglio published their first AI-generated newspaper. We're going to talk about the NVIDIA and XAI infrastructure that they built. Also about the new early warning system on climate risks powered by AI. Hollywood's concerns over copyrighted material in AI training. And also a survey revealing the skepticism around AGI through the current approaches.
Okay, yeah, it's a really good lineup. Starting with Wiz, I had no idea what the company was. I had not even heard of it, which made a $32 billion acquisition all the more kind of jarring because I was like, why haven't I heard of this? But it is a cybersecurity startup and it provides different cloud security platform solutions. So it definitely makes sense that it's valued so high. I think in today's data security, cloud security, data privacy, all those sorts of safety precautions. It's one of the most important sectors.
Yeah, it was actually the reason maybe why you haven't heard about it is actually because it was bought by Google's parent company Alphabet. And Wiz actually specializes in securing data stored in remote data centers, which is actually pretty important for a company like Alphabet that's all about multi-cloud strategy.
Yeah, remote data centers, that's really interesting and must be extremely far-reaching company. I looked into them a little bit and I, just saw a lot of, it's interesting because I'm not really I'm an AI market lead and I deal a lot with AI and data and therefore data security, but it's this kind of very overarching cybersecurity. It's this type of cybersecurity solution that I haven't really seen before. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see it become the framework for all of Alphabet's different products.
Yeah, especially when you look at the cloud computing sector. But I definitely think this acquisition is going to help them compete with Amazon and Microsoft, since those are more ahead in this space. But this might just be the kickback they need.
So you would say that Amazon and Microsoft have better security and are more advanced in the realm of cybersecurity?
I do think at the moment they are better capable at it, but that's also why I am interested by this deal that when Google bought it, because Wiz is specialized in it, that this is going to give them that extra competing edge.
Okay, interesting. I mean, in terms of AI news, I've definitely heard a lot of different data breaches recently. Actually, super fascinating, not entirely related to the cloud. A data company and this isn't exactly this isn't a hack or a breach. It's just something I saw in the news that was really interesting. I think other people will probably find it interesting as well. But a 23andMe, which is a really popular DNA company, you can, get your DNA done, see where you're from, etc., connect with relevant. They just filed for bankruptcy. And now all of the data is going to be sold to bidders. So that's pretty severe for anyone that has done a 23andMe scan or DNA test. Look into where your data is going. It also might be primarily US based. I don't know if the European equivalent. I do not think that European standards would allow that to come to fruition, but definitely in America, it's a bit of it's something to keep your eye out for.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely don't think it would fly past the EU AI Act, seeing
No, not
as
at all.
they are reselling the data, even though it is anonymized. But if you're a little bit smart, you can always.
Yeah, nothing is, when it comes to data, nothing is anonymous enough. Yeah, so they announced on March 23rd their bankruptcy after years of financial struggles and data privacy concerns. So
Yes, yeah, it's. I am interested to see where it's gonna go with this part. Also, indeed, if they're allowed to resell the data at all to data brokers.
Because that also kind of sets a precedent with regard to data and what happens in a bankruptcy proceeding. And also, DNA is just about the most sensitive data that you can get. I've actually avoided doing, I would love to know the breakdown. I have mixed ethnically. So I would love to see what exactly is in there. But I always resisted it because I was very adverse to the concept of a company having access to all of that. For example, ChatGPT, sometimes I will put information in there, or Claude, I'll put information in there that Obviously, I would prefer not to be leaked, but that's just such a separate, like, that's one thing. I cannot imagine handing my DNA to a company that, could A, be hacked as they have been, or have a data breach or data privacy concerns, but also now go into bankruptcy and then completely legally hand off the data to the highest bidder. So anyway, I mean, this acquisition, it returns to a conversation about data privacy and, what data privacy and cloud security is going to look like as the year progresses and kind of like the AI tech revolution continues.
I'm actually curious to see if people will end up actually suing them, even though they are bankrupt, at least to
Definitely.
get their
America,
back.
yeah, in America, you could sue an inanimate object. Like you sue anything. Yeah, I'm positive that there's going to be lawsuits. I actually think in the article that I read that there was something calling people to litigation, saying, hey, like, if you're going to be affected by this, if you've done 23andMe, you're living in America, like, look into some form of action, probably legal. So anyway, that's really interesting.
Let's definitely keep an eye out on it. By the way, this
Didn't
brings us
you
to...
take a DNA test?
Sorry?
Didn't you take a DNA test?
I did. I don't want to disclose on which company it is, though.
Yeah,
on the podcast.
Very fair. Okay, moving swiftly forwards.
Yeah. I'm already thinking ahead. I did look at it, and the results were pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But indeed, it also puts the question at risk as well, like, okay, if this company does go broke, do I at least get the rights to delete my data before they try to sell it?
Yeah, before the insurance companies take it. But I mean, living in the EU, I think you're safe.
Well, that would be the challenging question, because most DNA companies are American.
Mm-hmm.
If that's a possibility, but let's leave that for a later date.
Yeah, completely.
We actually can go to the next subject, which is actually Arcade, that raised $12 million for an AI agent infrastructure.
So we've discussed AI agents before, kind of at length, actually. I think we had one episode where we really spent some time on it and just discussing how this could be, like another forefront of AI development and how companies are looking into it. I was explaining how I had seen people in law taking interest in it, what it meant for like prospectively for roles such as like secretaries or, that sort of a thing. So it's really interesting to see, money moving in that direction as well. So it's not just like, oh, we're seeing this on LinkedIn or it's not just an interest. There's also financial backing for the infrastructure.
Yeah, I mean, Arcade got backed by Lot Ventures to start making this AI agents.
Yeah. And what's
interesting about them is that they aim to solve critical security challenges of AI interacting with real world by providing them like with necessary authorization and integration in infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting is that what like catches my attention is that this is another startup. So we have one startup going for 32 billion. We have another startup going for 12 million. Like it's just like the rate of innovation is like almost hard to keep up with. Usually in other sectors, you wouldn't see such an emergence of, entrepreneurs and novel ideas, taking flight in this type of way. So it's interesting to see.
No, but it's also, you see, it's a game of high risk, but also high reward.
Yeah.
If it pans out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think definitely in the AI race right now, because, we talked about it being like the fourth industrial revolution that's happening in human history.
Would you want an AI agent? What would you use it for?
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I would pretty much have it automate a lot of my tasks, such as making my agenda, answering my emails, making sure that my business is running, like a virtual assistant that can pretty much automatically run on itself. And if it does have any questions, it can like send me maybe in an email form or even maybe call me and being like, hey, I'm currently in a meeting with this person that wants to talk to you on Friday at 12 o'clock. Are you available? Because I do not see your agenda. Can I hook you in? And I'm just saying like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then I hang up and it continues on its own.
Then it continues on its own. I like that. I like that detail. Another thing that's kind of interesting about this AI agents discourse, before we started recording, I was on characters.ai and I was testing out this. It was the number one thing on the home screen, like this British royal family role play. Or it basically just like reenacts like the British royal family. It's like a chatbot. What's interesting is, like we've had Amazon Echoes for a while, but Dutch accent, and obviously also be able to speak in Dutch, but in a Dutch accent and have a higher awareness of like the Netherlands. And for me, maybe one that has and like well, I'm not Irish, but I do live in Ireland. So prospectively, an AI agent that has like an Irish accent or is more attuned to Ireland or Dublin and what the business happenings of this area and like the characteristics of it. Like it'll just be interesting to see these products become more individualized,
Well,
more
I mean,
hyper specific.
yeah, I mean, a good thing actually to check out, even though it's a bit controversial, actually, the world's first AI real estate agent ended up making $100 million in sales.
What?
This is an
What is
Israeli start.
controversial? What?
Well, the thing is, it's an Israeli startup called eSelf AI that has developed like a technology that provides interactive AI real estate agents capable of like answering questions.
You're
But the thing
joking.
that it also does is that it guides prospective buyers through listings at any time.
No, I am not with this. Oh my gosh.
I thought it was a joke at first when I was reading it, but I checked out the data sources and they actually have profound backing that this actually happened.
Oh my gosh. That completely wipes out such a huge sector. In Miami, there's like quite like a buzz about like real estate. Like a lot of people from my high school would go get their real estate license. Some of them closed deals. Wow, that's like actually going like a step too far for me. I don't know if it's just because like being from Miami, I'm so used to like real estate being discussed as like a career path. Like I can't fathom like an AI real estate agent. But the problem is I could absolutely 100% um fathom using an AI real estate agent. I would love to use an AI real estate agent. I just don't agree with the concept of, real estate as a, subject and career path being overtaken by AI. But I would love to use one. So there's kind of the paradox there. Jeez. That's really something to look out for.
Yeah, I would definitely say check it out. This would definitely indeed be interesting just to go over. Okay, this just took over an entire job. But I also do say is that I still think humans are still necessary even in this field.
Yeah.
Because you still need people to make the house listing, check out the house, check out if it's being sold by a real person. There's still like a human interaction
there
factor
is a
needed
degree.
in it.
Yeah. There's a super popular internet cybercrime, if you will, but like internet scam going around, and it targets like Erasmus students. It's like they advertise a house for sale or they advertise like a place to rent to students that are like desperate for housing. And it can be done on Facebook or etc. And then basically, you have this person on Facebook that's like offering you, oh, like you can live here, blah blah blah. And then you pay the deposit and then suddenly the person disappears off Facebook. So I wonder if an AI agent would be able to accurately kind of distinguish between the fake and real with regard to that, because it's such a fraudulent area. So I don't know.
Yeah, and indeed, that's why I said there still needs to be human verification to check out, okay, is this a real listing that I can sell? Because otherwise we're just going to turn into the metaverse, selling plots that don't really exist.
Completely.
Or NFTs.
Jeez, that was
kind of situation.
That was such an era. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to remember how old I was when that came out. I just remember it. So again, like I'm from the greater Miami area, and I was in Fort Lauderdale, and all like the art brokers there, because Miami's like a crypto capital. That area is like crazy about it. And the NFTs, one of the artists that was like doing like an exhibition, he was relentlessly advertising his NFTs. And then one of my friends wanted to buy it, and I was just like, oh, this is ridiculous. I was never that much on the NFT wavelength. Is that even relevant anymore? I don't think so.
NFTs.
Yeah.
I think OpenSea still exists, but it feels like it's the same kind of version as Bitcoin. It's just a way to put your money somewhere.
I know. I made so much money off of Bitcoin. I don't know if you remember the first Bitcoin frenzy, but I was 16 in the greater Miami area living large with my Bitcoin. My actually, in retrospect, very like minimal Bitcoin earnings, but yeah, I had a really good time with that. That was fun.
Yeah, Bitcoin was an interesting era. I wish I had invested more in it. But that's also a thing as well. Like you can wish a lot as well. But if you don't understand it, you shouldn't buy it. That's always my advice. But also at the same time, take a risk. But that's me now.
Yeah, no, there's such like funny dynamics in the market. Like I just looking back, and now there's like all these new things. Like celebrities have their own like crypto coins. Have you seen that? It's a very much so like an American thing. Hold on. I'm not really tuned in with that type of stuff. Whenever I see it, I'm like I'm like, what is going on here? You know? But there's like celebrities are coming out with community tokens and like different community tokens and like their own different versions of crypto, and you have to invest and etc.
Maybe it's something I'll look into. I mean, I have seen also those companies like how do you call it, like crypto coins turn into stock options as well, because they actually turn into like legit companies that are running them.
Interesting. Wait, so I have an example here. I think it's a bit niche given like the whole entire global scene, but she's very popular to a degree in America. It's this celebrity rapper of sorts. Her name is Bad Baby. And she launched a community token, which is like in the crypto world, and she's funding not only her music but also cancer research with this like crypto platform sort of a thing. See, the thing is, I really do not understand how the crypto stuff breaks down. I've been so out of that meta, and a lot of these different like celebrity coins, they just seem like very extremely elaborate scams to me. So I've not really paid much attention. But maybe that's something to look into. It's definitely like another market trend.
I'm definitely going to keep my eye out on it. But this is pretty cool. No, also coming back to, arcades. I think that's why arcade may be interesting, especially with their AI agent infrastructure. Because indeed, I do think when it comes to security, also around NFTs and stuff, that needs to be increased a bit more. Also just to make sure that people's wallets stay safe.
Yeah, definitely.
But we can also go on to, so remember that I said at the beginning, we should also go a little bit to Italy.
Yeah.
Because actually the newspaper, I think it's Il Foglio, if I'm saying it right, claims to have generated the first AI newspaper edition.
Things are really taking a turn. Like, things are going too far for me. Like, real estate, newspapers, like, you know how hard it is to get a job as a journalist? Well, I actually don't know how hard it is to get a job as a journalist because I've never tried to get a job as a journalist, but I'm imagining extraordinarily hard. And, things of this nature don't exactly make it better. It's also interesting because you said that, whenever you generate content with AI on social media, like say like an Instagram caption, that it gets less engagement. So I wonder if they're using an AI form that is more sophisticated, and can kind of like evade that problem, and it can pass for human. It'd be interesting to read it.
I think we can definitely dive into this because for them, this is also a month-long experiment that they're doing right now. Where they have a 4-page insert of this new AI-driven newspaper. The thing for me, what you said, AI-generated content, how that will impact like the future of journalism. It's a good question because the thing is, it's AI-generated content. That means this is content that is already on the internet that they have gathered and put into a newspaper form. But that still means there need to be journalists who go out there into the field to track down sources, write the article pieces, publish it. And then this AI generates the content out of it.
Yeah.
But it still needs to know where those sources come from. And as long as the AI does not have a body and the capability of tracking down sources, doing the investigative part, you're still going to have to rely on humans to do the journalism part.
Yeah, that is a good point. Recently, a really renowned journalist came to my school and discussed the work that she did. And it was really like just superlative to get her perspectives on everything. She discussed how like she went into prisons in Syria and different sorts of places and just like her real lived experiences. And it was really powerful to hear. And I don't know how AI would kind of recreate like that human element, but I guess that's kind of a broader question that everyone's asking, like, and it can be asked in a million different ways, so maybe that's repetitive. But yeah, it remains to be seen if AI generated content will become as seamless as to be perceived as human.
Yeah, no, agreed. Well, let's keep an eye on it. It's also moving on to NVIDIA and XAI, Elon Musk's company, are actually teaming up. for a $30 billion infrastructure fund backed by BlackRock, Microsoft, and Abu Dhabi's MGX.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
All these different funds, like there's just so much money being thrown around. Like as so many economies are like teetering towards a recession, it's crazy that so much is summoned just under like the heading of AI. And Elon Musk's XAI, what is that? Is that his like Twitter AI? Did he rename it?
No, so that's the AI company that he set up separately after he left OpenAI. During their dispute on where the future of the company would go. They're also the ones that are responsible for creating Grok.
Okay. Yeah.
Or part responsible for Grok.
I knew that one. Okay. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang emphasized that these AI factories would transform data into intelligence, accelerating breakthroughs across industries. The fund's ultimate goal is to raise $100 billion to support sustainable AI development. Well, that's really good hearing the word sustainable. I mean, we've discussed a lot about I actually, a bit in our earlier episodes, but we've discussed at length, just the extent of the impact that AI can have on the environment. So it's good to hear that sustainability is a major focus, especially like as a direct statement from the CEO. That's great to hear.
Yeah, and what's also interesting about this fund is that it aims to address like the growing computational demands of AI technology because, we both read into how much actually energy it costs. Because, you have to build advanced data centers that can be more energy efficient if we want to keep using AI.
Yeah.
Especially, what you said as well was Jensen said that we're going to need these AI factories if we want to keep doing all this awesome stuff with AI.
Where do you think these will be located? In America, presumably? Because I'm seeing like such a diversity of companies, including like one from Abu Dhabi. So it'd be interesting to see what location they choose. I mean, I've discussed how like the majority of the data centers for Europe are based in Ireland. So, where this will be located, I think that'll be an interesting thing to see.
I think it would definitely be interesting to see indeed what you said, where it will be located, because we're talking here about 2 American companies and 1 Middle Eastern company that are backing this fund. Because the thing that I know is that in the United Arabian Emirates states, they are working on, for example, data centers that can be cooled down with seawater, since they're right next to the sea. Since that would be an efficient way to cool down the machines without using drink water. But the problem right now is that if you put salt water against a computer, it erodes very quickly. But the way to cool it down would be interesting. Plus, they have in the Middle East, they have access to sunlight, I would say maybe 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
Because they're on the middle of the earth.
The equator.
The equator, that was the word.
On the topic of climate, our next subject is that there are going to be early warning systems for climate risks powered by AI. So AI is being used to develop advanced early warning systems to predict climate-induced disasters like floods, droughts, heat waves. Projects like Weather integrate geospatial technologies with AI algorithms to analyze climate patterns and to provide real-time alerts tailored to vulnerable communities. So that's going to be like a really strong development, I think, and help to minimize fatality.
Project Weather is so interesting.
Yeah. We've discussed this before, actually, especially with regard to Florida. Florida's when they had all the hurricanes, AI was kind of at the forefront of the prediction and tracking for those. So it's good to see just like continuation in ensuring that we're able to respond to these major climate disasters that are really just like increasing at an exponential rate.
Yeah, but also, I mean, with Project Weather, for example, like they aim to minimize fatalities by enabling proactive disaster responses through mobile apps and SMS notifications. I mean, I know in the Netherlands we have, it's not Amber Alert, but something similar, that if there's a natural disaster, you get a message like, hey, there's a fire near you, please close your windows and stay inside. So it does already exist, but that's more in the sense of once they hear the alarm. So that's when not a natural disaster happens, but when there's I guess man-made disaster or a shooting or something happens, you get an alert like, hey, something's happening near you, please make sure your windows are closed.
Oh, okay. And that's run by the government? How does that?
Yeah, it's a government initiative.
Okay. And is there any like AI integration in that or no?
I mean, combining the efforts to send out multiple SMS at once, it does mean that an algorithm is being used.
Okay.
I would have to look into more to tell what the specifics are on it, but I definitely think AI is involved to make sure that the alert is sent out to all nearby phones, since it can detect if you are near it or not.
Oh, that's kind of interesting, because then there's like the location element, that the government is going to have access to your location to send the messages to you.
Well, I think it's actually the other way around, because
really,
in the sense of, because we have the privacy thing in Europe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't see where everybody is all the time. You're not allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what they do is, if I remember correctly, when I was reading the paper, is what they do is they look at the like nearby cell phone towers, and they have that send out a text to everybody.
Okay.
So any phones near that tower get a notification.
Interesting. All right.
But you do have to sign up for it. I do know that.
Oh, if you have to sign up for it, then yeah, that completely. I thought it was like an Amber Alert where like you don't have control in your phone. Like the way that Amber Alerts work is that your phone like buzzes as well, I think. I haven't lived in America in a very, very long time, so I may be like saying this incorrectly, or they may have changed it since I immigrated. Yeah, no, it's a bit of like there's no degree of like consent, and it's just, well, not that you would need consent for something as important as an Amber Alert, but it's just interesting the way that kind of the government is able to have a degree of intervention into what is sent out.
No, but from what I understood at the time was it just sends it to the nearby cell phone tower, and that sends a text to everybody like, hey, there's a fire or whatever happening. Be sure to close your windows and etc.
And there you go. The next thing we have on our agenda is that Hollywood is deeply concerned over copyrighted material in AI training. So this is also kind of an extension of previous trends. I think the New York Times is the best example, where they're locked in this huge lawsuit with OpenAI, and not OpenAI, sorry, but they're locked in a huge lawsuit with OpenAI. Yeah, I believe OpenAI, but just a bunch of other companies with regard to the usage of their images without consent in AI generation.
Yeah, I think this was, by the way, I think at the time there was even a protest happening in the US where they were protecting performers in the digital age.
A strike. There was a strike.
Yeah. I think they were called SAG, because I remember like people like Tom Hanks, like Scarlett Johansson, Morgan Freeman, they were all joining in on the protest.
Did anything come of the protest? I really didn't keep track with, what was achieved by that. I will say there's this very interesting phenomena. It's very new in the filmmaking community. So Ireland has a lot of film development. It's ever since Brexit. Well, number one, there's like these beautiful natural landscapes. There's a lot of talent as well. But ever since Brexit, companies are really investing in Ireland's capacity to be connected to the EU and also to London with regards to evading taxes. It's just a very like prosperous area. Industry has really taken off, and a lot of different companies come to Ireland to shoot films and etc. And a few of my friends work kind of in that area, and I was told that there's this new phenomena where if you're hired to be an extra, you are invited into a full body scanner, and then your likeness is taken and then replicated into whatever movie or show or scene. But like they'll take an AI render of your likeness and then they can replicate it. So instead of like an acting ability, you're basically just you're getting paid for the license to your face.
I don't know. I'm hesitant about that one, because that would mean they can use your face for anything that you want, if they want.
Yeah, well, not like anything. I think that there's definitely like strong parameters, but kind of there is an introduction of AI and, what would be the word for it? Not deep faking, but like just the manipulation of imagery and people's imagery. It's kind of being slowly introduced to the industry.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind it as long as they get your permission before they start using you in a movie or something. Because I remember that, what was the name called again? Oh yeah, the governor, Gavin Newsom, who actually signed a law that like prohibits the use of digital replica. Like if you're dead or alive, you have to give your consent, or at least consent of whoever is running your estate at the time, so your face doesn't suddenly get used. I think that was one of the only things that came out when SAG protested it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, it's good to hear that at least something came out of it, because it was a pretty broad effort. Like I heard about it, and I don't really follow any sort of like news along that tangent. Like I'm not very concerned with what Hollywood is up to, but I still heard about it.
That actually does bring us to our final topic, which is actually a survey that was about the skepticism around achieving AGI. like through the current approaches.
Yeah.
Because right now, apparently, a lot of people are still skeptical about it, if we can even reach AGI, simply because LLMs are not able to scale up that fast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with all the investment, as we've been like discussing in the first kind of half of the episode, with all this investment, I think that anything is possible. If you put enough billions towards a problem, there's bound to be a solution somewhere.
The real estate agent.
Yeah.
AI real estate agent, indeed, to me, that does look actually like a system that's capable of performing an intellectual task a human can also do. So maybe that startup is at least at the beginning of AGI, if their AI agent was able to do this.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I guess it just remains to be seen. What alternative approaches do you think could bring us closer to AGI? And what's like the biggest improvement of AGI over AI?
When it comes to how can we get closer to it, I would say really have a look at AI agents, what they're already capable of, and maybe combine AI agents that are currently already available and then have Arcade's security infrastructure put together with it so that it still does adhere to the fact that it happens on a safe way. But truly AGI would mean that they would have... Oh, by the way, this might actually be a good movie. So I'm currently watching the movie Electric State on Netflix, where they actually talk about the fact that robots become conscious and actually fight for their robot rights. But the way that I was looking at the movie, I was actually thinking there's actually capability that these AIs have now the availability to run multiple ideas at the same time. So they are able to create their own decision pattern. So yeah, I would say once an AGI is able to do that, so an AI can make their own decisions and actually weigh it, you are actually one step closer to AGI.
Okay.
I think you should actually check out, I am trying out Grok, where you can actually see in their deep research parts the decisions that the AI is making.
Really? Like, it's just like this higher degree of transparency?
Yeah, so compared to like DeepSeek and stuff, and ChatGPT, you name it, you actually have the transparency of how it came to a certain decision.
Wow, it's really incredible.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people were actually boycotting it because it is of Elon Musk, but I'm always like, okay, even if the person, you don't like a person, that doesn't mean their technology, because they're not the one who actually developed the technology. They're just the face of the company.
Yeah, there's a movement in America where people are putting bumper stickers on their Tesla saying, I bought this before he went crazy, and all these sorts of things. It's interesting how, sensationalized, and there's a lot going on in America. That's all I'll say.
I always say the moment you stop talking to a person, you actually lose the battle, because the only way forward is actually keep talking with a person and even trying out things like Grok.
Or just
Not that I'm promoting it, but I'm just saying for people, do try it out, because it is interesting to see the transparency when it comes to the decision-making pattern.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool.
And when it comes to your second question, was better about AGI than AI? Actually, don't know, to be honest, because I've not interacted with an AGI system before. So I can honestly not say if it would be better than AI. I mean, it would be interesting because it has its own thinking pattern and it can think for itself. So probably if you ask it to do something, it might say no.
Interesting.
Or it might say, this is a stupid question.
Yeah, I don't like that degree of sentience at all. Like, that's so jarring.
Yeah, and with AI, it's just a system. It does not think for itself.
Yeah, which is what I prefer. I'd like to keep it that way. I think it does enough.
You should really watch the movie Electric State. You're gonna be like, what's going on? But yeah, this is a lot that happened in AI this week again. So a lot of stuff for people to catch up on in the next 42 minutes when they were listening to our podcast. I mean, we talked about Google getting a hold of the startup Wiz. We talked about Arcade actually raising $12 million for their AI agent infrastructure. Il Foglio of publishing the first AI-generated newspaper. We also talked about the new AI infrastructure fund NVIDIA and XAI made with backing of BlackRock, Microsoft, and Abu Dhabi's MGX. We also talked about early warning systems that are now being made. Check out Project Weather, by the way. Hollywood actually still concerning about copyrighted material being used in AI training and the overall skepticism of achieving AGI with the current approaches.
All right.
So
good topics.
Yeah, we had a lot to cover. Thanks everyone for joining us today on our podcast again. We hope you liked it. Please follow, like, and subscribe us on LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Web Music. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.